Have you ever felt it? A tiny hesitation in reality, a flicker in the corner of your eye, a moment where the world pauses, as if waiting for a line of code to reload. Ancient Gnostics believed these glitches weren't accidents. They believed they were messages, leaks from outside the simulation. Today, physicists talk about the universe as information. Mystics talk about realms beyond the physical. And storytellers whisper about broadcasts that shape human memory. But what if they're all describing the same thing? What if our universe is not simply a simulation, but a broadcasted world designed by a flawed creator? Let's explore. Section 1. The original simulation theory. 1,900 years before computers. Long before we used the word simulation, the Gnostics used another term, the illusion. They believed the world we see, the one we touch, breathe, and struggle through, was not the true reality. Instead, it was created by a being they called the Demiurge. Not a god, not the source of life, but a cosmic architect cut off from truth, a being who mistook its own limited power for ultimate authority. Think of the Demiurge not as a monster, but as a programmer who doesn't know the system he's running on. A glitchy developer of existence. He created a world of matter, populated it with souls, and broadcasted one message again and again. This is all there is. But something was wrong. Even the ancient texts describe anomalies, rifts, where higher truth leaked into this false world. The Gnostics called these rifts gnosis, the sudden knowing that the world is not as it seems. Modern people call them other things: déjà vu, synchronicity, quantum oddities, simulation glitches. But the meaning might be the same. Section 2. The Code of Reality. Fast forward to today. Quantum scientists say everything is information. Cosmologists say the universe processes data. Computer scientists say if the universe is information, it behaves like a simulation. What's fascinating is that the ancient Nag Hammadi texts describe creation in layers of information. Higher realms, pure, unbroken light, like perfect code. Lower realms, fragmented, warped, limited, like corrupted files. Human consciousness, a spark from the original source trapped inside a faulty operating system. In other words, you are the bug in the Demiurge's code. Your awareness doesn't fully fit this world, and that's why so many people feel the deep, aching sense that something is wrong here. Not emotionally, not psychologically, cosmically. You are running on a processor that wasn't built for your level of consciousness. And sometimes that mismatch creates interference. Some call them visions. Some call them spiritual awakening. Some call them mental breakdowns. Others call them forgotten memories of a previous life or previous version of yourself. But what if they're all referring to the same truth? Section 3. Who is watching the simulation? Here's where things get strange. The Gnostics believed the Demiurge was not alone. They wrote about archons, intermediary beings who manage this world, filter information, and ensure the broadcast remains stable. Not evil necessarily, just maintenance programs. Their job? Keep humans focused on the illusion. Make sure no one wakes up too much. Make sure no one breaks the fourth wall. Make sure no one remembers what came before this world. This idea echoes through modern culture: men in black, shadow governments, agents in simulations, corporations that manipulate perception. Some storytellers talk about companies that erase memories and rewrite emotional truths to keep people compliant. In older myths, these were demons. In newer myths, they're algorithms. Either way, they serve the same role: contain the awakening, protect the code, preserve the broadcast. But here's the twist. Even the ancient texts say some humans slip through. Some people become aware of the watchers. Some people start sensing the invisible architecture of reality. Some people hear messages that were never meant for them. Section 4. The simulation is not perfect. If this world were a perfect simulation, you wouldn't experience déjà vu, synchronicity dreams that feel more real than waking life. The sense of, I've lived this before, sudden personality, resets memories that don't belong to you. Timelines that feel like they've changed. These aren't malfunctions of your brain. They might be malfunctions of the system. Ancient mystics describe these glitches as echoes from the realms of origin, meaning you are remembering pieces of yourself from outside the simulation. Quantum physics now suggests timelines may interact. Consciousness may exist beyond the body. Information might not be destroyed. So when you feel a shift, when something that once existed suddenly doesn't, or when a memory feels overwritten, you might not be losing your mind. You might be noticing a patch update in the cosmic operating system. Section 5. The forgotten broadcast. Every simulation needs a signal, a source. Ancient Gnostics said it came from the pleroma, the realm of fullness, the original light. But some texts hint at something else, that the broadcast weakens over time, that the Demiurge's world drifts farther from the source of truth with every passing age. This is where modern sci-fi meets ancient mysticism. Imagine this world as a channel broadcasted across dimensions. And sometimes, faintly, you hear the original message bleeding through the static. A voice that doesn't belong to this world. A memory that doesn't fit your life. A dream that feels more like recall than imagination. Some people call these hallucinations. Others call them divine revelation. Some say it's the universe speaking. But maybe, just maybe, it's a broadcast from outside the simulation trying to get your attention. A forgotten frequency from the realm that created you, trying to remind you who you really are. Section 6. If the simulation is real, then so is the exit. Here's the part the ancient texts found dangerous. If the world is a simulation, then awakening is not about belief. It is not about rituals. It is not about rejecting the physical. It is about remembering. Remembering that the world around you is not the limit of reality. Remembering that your consciousness is older than this universe. Remembering that awakening is not a reward, it is a reboot. The Nag Hammadi describes the awakened human as a fragment of light that no darkness can contain. Meaning, if you become aware enough, you can see through the illusion. You can step outside the broadcast. You can access the code itself. You don't escape the simulation by running away from it. You escape by waking up inside it. That is gnosis. Outro, the question you must ask. So now, the real question. If reality is a simulation, and the Gnostics were the first to decode it, and the signs of awakening are happening more often, then what is your next move? Do you ignore the glitches? Explain them away? go back to sleep? Or do you follow the interference? Do you follow the faint, distorted signal that doesn't belong to this world? Because maybe, just maybe, the original broadcast is calling you home. Drifting Hobo Co. is a creative studio exploring imagination, philosophy, myth, and the mysteries that shape human experience. We create art, film, and stories inspired by both the ancient world and worlds not yet imagined. If you've enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and visit thedriftinghobo.com to explore more of our creative work. Stay curious,